Coming up, a new program for farming and entrepreneurship is making headway at the Indian Pueblo Cultural Center, and an Osage artist and fashion designer is heading to New York Fashion Week. Plus, keeping promises to Native children. What do you think? I'm Mackenzie Allen Charmley. Join us for those interviews plus headlines from the ICT newscast.
This program is made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, a private corporation funded by the American people.
Arizona State University welcomes 3,500 Indigenous students from Arizona and across the nation. It serves one of the largest populations of Indigenous students among U.S. colleges and universities. We created a sense of place for tribal nations to create futures of their own making through community outreach and research, taught by world-class Indigenous faculty where they see a reflection of themselves and their experiences. Find community at ASU.
Chinangale, we're so happy you could join us. We start in New Mexico, where Indigenous leaders are advocating for a special educational trust fund. Last week, tribal officials testifying at the Capitol said that the creation of a $50 million trust would greatly improve Native student outcomes. The fund would help finance educational programs within tribal communities in the state. Supporters pointed out that state lawmakers acknowledge Native students have the lowest graduation rates among their peers. Laguna Pueblo Governor Wilfred Herrera says he likens the fund to putting away resources for Native children's future. A separate measure also won committee approval that amends the Indian Education Act. The act would allow 50% of that money to be funneled into the state's Indian Education Fund, which benefits Indigenous nations. Staying with education news, Oklahoma's Board of Education voted to issue a termination notice for a Native-focused charter school in Oklahoma City. Dakota McDowell Wapakichi has this story.
We are not going to close. We are not going to not have school.
For them to make that decision and not even really give us a reason why, it was really difficult.
Sovereign Community Schools, located in northern Oklahoma City, has served Native American students for 4 years. Kendra Wilson Clements, the school board president, said the school is different from many others in the area.
We are committed to health, wellness, language, culture, and creating those safe spaces for our students to participate in who they are and celebrate who they are. And that very much is different from the other public schools.
The Oklahoma State Board of Education held its first meeting under a new administration and decided to terminate its sponsorship of the Sovereign Community School Charter. Allison Black, the head of schools, said the decision was emotionally trying, but that it brought a feeling of relief.
And I say that because now we're on to a next chapter with this school. Today I get to be with my students more instead of prepare these endless reports and endless checklists.
There have been a lot of emotions here at Sovereign Community School, and one thing that they say is that their Indigenous culture has prepared them to look forward to what's next.
Allison and I, literally sitting in the car just moments after having received that news, started planning immediately what was going to be next for us.
I'm not crying because I'm sad. I'm crying because it's been so emotional. But we have momentum.
The next chapter is figuring out what is the best route in hopes of keeping the school open. The two have said they've already started making connections with community members to raise some money. Not only does this affect the people running the school, but also its students.
I feel like I'm going to school with my whole family, and I feel comfortable, and I don't feel like my voice isn't heard as much as I did at that school and other public schools that I have gone to, because most of the schools do not represent all of us. They only represent what they want to.
The school is meeting next week inside the school's cafeteria with community members to discuss their future. In Oklahoma, Dakota McDowell Wapakichi, ICT News.
Kendra Wilson-Clements, who is featured in this story, is a consultant with our parent company, Indian Public Media. In Utah, a bill that would offer protections for Native children during adoption and foster care processes is being held up in the committee. Last week, the state's House Judiciary Committee voted 7-5 to hold a bill patterned after the federal Indian Child Welfare Act. Dustin Jansen, director of the state's Division of Indian Affairs, says the bill doesn't replace the best interest of the child, but enforces it. Prior to the 1978 legislation, a third of all Native children were removed from their families and communities, and 85% were placed with non-Natives, even when fit and willing Indigenous relatives were available. This hold now blocks the bill from advancing to a vote on the House floor, though it may be reconsidered at a later point. New Zealand's outgoing leader is saying her goodbyes among Indigenous people. Last week, Jacinda Ardern made her final public appearance as the country's prime minister. Ardern shocked the world with her resignation as leader after 5 years, saying she had nothing left in the tank. Her final act as a leader was joining incoming PM Chris Hipkins to attend the Maori religious celebration. In her speech, the outgoing leader spoke about love while using the Maori word for the country and Indigenous phrase for her final goodbye.
I leave with a greater love and affection for Aotearoa New Zealand and its people than when I started. And I didn't think that was possible. So my final words are this. Ngā mihi nui kia koutou katoa. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for the greatest privilege of my life.
Ardern plans to stay on as a member of parliament until April to avoid triggering a special election ahead of the nation's general election. And those are the headlines for the ICT Newscast. The Indian Pueblo Cultural Center in Albuquerque, New Mexico is investing in entrepreneurship and farming. A new program for free native farmer training is offering resources and mentorship for those interested in this industry. From financial planning to hands-on experience, the program will utilize a new kitchen facility as well. Marianne Billy is the Cultural Center's Special Project Manager and is here to tell us more. Hi, Marianne.
Good morning.
To begin, tell us more about this program and what people can expect from it.
Well, yes, so here at the Indian Pueblo Cultural Center, we are working on developing out programming and facility to support our local Native entrepreneurs. And we decided to go heavy on focusing on food and farm businesses. So this first set of trainings will be to support them kind of in a generally speaking, with business and marketing as day one. They receive access to Chromebooks, to some software subscriptions that will help them in formulating their budget and business plan. And then the next 2 days will go into their tiered training, food safety, farm safety plans, and helping them get to a statewide food supplier list.
Farming is integral to a lot of Native communities. Why was this program something the Cultural Center wanted to offer, and was there already interest from the community?
Oh, definitely. It speaks directly to our mission to support to perpetuate Pueblo culture, but also to offer opportunities for economic advancement and helping our people in the local neighborhood really reach their levels and definition for success. And of course, that speaks directly to kind of our roots with agriculture, farming, and supplying food to our community, to our family for sustenance, and also potentially now in a new market, moving it out of community with that type of produce and product.
What are you ultimately hoping people will be getting from the experience?
Primarily, and I think what young business owners, or even not even necessarily young business owners, need is community. And sometimes, especially farming and any entrepreneurial work, can seem lonely and you're doing it by yourself, so to speak. But when you can come into a room and meet with people who have similar interests, similar problems and challenges, and come from similar backgrounds, that can really be a spur to move them on to their next level and keep going and keep moving. And then also is to provide some of that technical support in training and marketing essentials and business essentials that we're hearing from the farmers. This is kind of what they're needing and they're wanting, is how we treat our farm that we've been doing maybe for generations, and treat it like a business so that it can support my community, can support my family.
When it comes to entrepreneurship, what are your views on natives entering that space?
For the Indian Pueblo Cultural Center, we're entrepreneurial in spirit. Our Pueblos and natives forever have been innovative and have been problem solvers, have really reached to support their community and have been truly resilient in our work. So I think that spirit and translating it into a modern era is very powerful. And we support any opportunity for our Native people to reach their levels and goals for success. And for many of them, it's kind of venturing out and taking work that maybe has been in their family for generations and moving it into a new era that will be kind of a business, and also what our state needs currently right now to support our local food system, and also infuse some traditional foods into the current market.
The program will flow into a kitchen facility that's being developed. What other ways do you see the Cultural Center using that addition?
It's going to be designed around food and farm businesses. So we kind of anticipate that it will help support catering businesses, food trucks, along with local farms, and hopefully aggregating that in some capacity and moving it out into a larger scale, whether it's institutions like senior center homes, Head Start, or early childhood facilities, schools, and moving that out and possibly even to retail format.
You've offered other businesses and marketing programs in the past. What other programs are you hoping to offer in the future? How do you see the Cultural Center expanding?
So this department, or this is going to be a brand new department for the Cultural Center under our nonprofit arm, and it's called the Entrepreneur Complex, which yes has facility and yes has programming. And as our first step, this Native farmer training, which we foresee will continue cycling through either yearly or biannually. But we hope to hear and develop programming based on the needs we're hearing from our business owners, whether that's farmers or those who are interested in doing value-added product off of fresh produce or fresh items. So we're really starting to hear from the farmers that their need is a spectrum. We have beginning level people and entry level people who just need kind of understanding on how best to grow things. And then we have people that are very experienced and need more advanced technical training or technical assistance, whether that's in the business and administration side of their operations, or it could be actually some field assistance, boots on the ground type support and help.
Well, Marianne Billy, the Special Projects Manager for the Indian Pueblo Cultural Center, thank you for joining us.
Happy to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Sky Eagle Collection is an avant-garde native fashion brand headed for New York Fashion Week. Co-founder and designer of Sky Eagle Collection is Dante Biss-Grayson, an Osage artist and veteran. From fashion shows to giving back to the community, he emphasizes the importance of awareness and action through his designs and brand. Dante Biss-Grayson is here to share more. Hi, Dante.
Hi, how you doing?
You're heading to New York Fashion Week. Tell us more about the process Sky Eagle has gone through to get this opportunity.
So New York Fashion Week, it's one of the biggest. It's like one of the biggest fashion shows in the planet, and my brand, the Sky Eagle collection, will be showing a series of new native fashion, native avant-garde, and it's going to be great. It's not a lot of native designers make it to those spaces and those platforms, so it's nice to be able to represent and also remind everybody out there that we're still here and that we can also compete on these big stages.
Did you envision your brand in a space like this, and where do you see it going in the future now that you've made it to this point?
So I have a lot of strategic planning as far as like goals, long term, like 5 years, 10 years, where I want to scale up certain parts of the brand. I'm going to branch out into, like ranch wear. I'm also going to be doing media consultations for other companies on how to grow and also how to build a brand. Also cold weather gear like ski weather. But the big goal is that I know it's pretty bold, but, I was born in Santa Fe and Tom Ford, lived there. I'd love to be the first global native and veteran-owned fashion brand that is, shoulder to shoulder with Gucci. So I'm going to aim high.
I like that. What are you most excited for people to see from Sky Eagle Collection during this time in New York?
New York is going to be, there's so many things going on. I'd say the main area is the native avant-garde. For fashion, the brand kind of focuses on what is like new native warriors, men and women in these different spaces, in boardrooms, as state representatives, leaders, teachers, doctors, that type of thing. And so the brand has clothing, native design from my tribe, from the plains, ribbon work. And then I made it real modern and deconstructed certain things. So, like, for instance, like this tie, it's something that these new warriors can be honored to wear and also feel empowered in these spaces that they're representing. So, yeah, that'll be the main thing. And also in New York, I have a lot of trench coats. Also, just have a few surprises as well. I'm doing some kind of real abstract pieces, so more to follow on that.
Your experience as a veteran and the MMIW epidemic were big inspirations for your brand. Could you tell us about the relationship between your designs and the issues Native communities face?
Absolutely. The brand started, my daughter, we're both Eagle Clan, and I wanted to, as a first son, Lompa in my tribe, also Eagle Clan being a leader, protector of the family, the tribe, the nation. So I looked at my daughter, and I came back from overseas, the military and all that, and found out about the MMIW epidemic, and I'm like, we need to do something about this. And it expanded more into all of the issues that are impacting Indian country, lack of access to education, healthcare, and the outcomes and all that, a lot of high rate of suicide, a lot of different things. And so I decided, what can I do about it? So that's one core pillar of the brand is social justice. Build a platform, e-commerce, media, social media, whatever, to be able to bring awareness to an issue, and then also to inspire action. So a lot of people who support Sky Eagle wearing these clothing in these spaces so that they say, okay, we can go out there and take action to mitigate these issues.
Can you tell us more about the 400 ribbon skirt project that you did?
Absolutely. That I kind of focused on the medicine wheel and the 4 directions. And it was right at the middle of the pandemic. I was working on the Navajo. And I wanted to just send good medicine to the 4 directions. So the 400, there was 100 in north, south, east, west. And I wanted to send them to, battered women's shelters. I wanted to send them to anywhere where somebody was at, in the process of healing. And in my mind was, if they had this good medicine, maybe they went to, they're in a transition in their life and, they wanted to go to like a job interview and they had this good medicine that hopefully it would take them to that next level of healing. So that was the idea of the project. I had some donations and all that, and then I kind of covered the rest of it. But I think it was really beneficial to the recipients of the 400 ribbon scripts.
Dante, we're wrapping up our time here, but I wanted to know if you had any advice or insight for aspiring Native fashion designers out there.
Absolutely. Never give up on your dreams. Don't wait around for somebody to discover you. You know, like if you're waiting on that, you know, get up off the couch, get out there, take care of it every day, and be honest and truthful with it. Just get out there, have fun with it. If you're not having fun, why do it? You know, it's very rewarding to go out there and advocate, and you know, it's beneficial being an entrepreneur, small business, but be flexible along the way, and just never forget your dreams.
Well, Dante Biss-Grayson, co-founder and designer of Sky Eagle Collection, thank you for joining us today.
Got it.
ICT wants to hear from you. We're partnering with news organizations to seek input on the Bureau of Indian Education. What does its report card look like? Diana Hunt, ICT's senior editor, joins us. Hi, Diana.
Hi, how are you?
Doing good. First of all, tell us about this partnership that got this survey started.
Yes. ICT is working with the Hechinger Report, which is a nonprofit organization that focuses exclusively on education and educational issues. We're also joined by the Washington Post in looking at the Bureau of Indian Education, how it has, what it's doing, how it's done, what's happening that's good, what's not working. And we want to hear from everybody. We want to get the word out. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you know. We need to pick your brain about what's going on before we decide before we decide where we're going to go with this.
On our website, ictnews.org, there's a link to this survey. What has been the response so far?
We've had a really good response. I'm always impressed by the viewers and the readers who tell us what they think. They take their time and tell us their story, their personal knowledge. This is what I experienced. This is what my child experienced or my grandmother experienced. And we want to hear those stories. We want to know, what do you think? What happened to you or your family? What would you like for BIE schools to do? And we're not talking about public schools. We're talking just about those run by the BIE, which is, you know, the federal government has two school systems. One is for the children of the military, and then the other is the Bureau of Indian Education. So we want to know about those schools and what's happening there, what's working and what isn't working.
The webpage says the voices of elders, parents, students, teachers, bus drivers, paraeducators, principals, tribal leaders, and government officials, anyone with a story to share about the BIE. Are you getting a good cross-section of answers?
We are. We're getting responses from different states, different tribes, different tribal communities. We are getting responses from people who have worked for BIE. We've gotten responses from people who have attended. We have gotten a really good response, but we want to hear more. We want to, now's your chance to tell us what you think about this issue. We want to know, tell us what we should know about the Bureau of Indian Education. And we're hoping to be able to pull those together. We'll be in touch later. Let me just stress that we won't publish your name. We won't disclose your name or any kind of personal information without talking with you and making sure you're okay with that. But we want to hear your story, your thoughts, your perspective on the Bureau of Indian Education.
And what will ultimately happen with the results?
We're going to gather information and gather stories. We've already gathered a lot of data. The Hechinger Report has, we've joined with the Washington Post and with ICT to get some data. We have data, we have a lot of information, but we need to know how that impacts people in our communities and who are those people and how is it impacting them. So we want to hear the stories. We'll follow up with as many people as we can follow up with to get more detail, to get to ask questions, to learn about what happened on the ground in your community with a BIE school.
We're wrapping our time here, but Diana, what else are you working on?
Well, we've got lots of international news this week. We have the Oscars coming up. We have recently had, we have at least one Indigenous related film. It's not an Indigenous filmmaker. We've got a lot of entertainment news. We've got some sports stuff coming out. We've got all kinds of stuff coming out in the next week or two as the new year's going. It's moving.
Well, Diana Hutt, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And that's a slice of our Indigenous world. For all the latest, visit ictnews.org. From all of us in the newsroom, stay safe, my relatives.
This program is made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, a private corporation funded by the American people.